Hey moms, welcome back to the show. Today we're going to talk about something exciting. We're talking about the wild ride of momtrepreneurship and the secret to my success. Hey moms, welcome to another episode of the Life Unboxed blog show where we talk about all things momtrepreneur, from raising your kids to running a business and to the most important one, keeping your sanity. I am Jodie the mom from lifeunboxed.blog. And if you're enjoying this content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. All of these things really help the channel out. And if you're listening to the podcast, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, share the podcast with your friends, and leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. I truly appreciate your support. And remember, you can support the show through Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/lifeunboxedblog. And you can support the show with coffee. And remember, I would love to hear your questions that you just can't seem to get answered. So send them my way. All right, so let's get into the show. Success. This is a word that I love to hate, and a word that occupies my thoughts often. It intrudes on my musings because I want to know the secret to my success. What is the magic bullet or the secret formula? What is the one thing that I can do that will launch my business overnight? And if you're a momtrepreneur too, then you want these questions answered. Now, I have to say this. I had to stop and think as I was preparing for the show and to remind myself that I am running a very successful business with my virtual assistant business. And that one actually took off within 2.5 months, which is really unheard of when it comes to starting a business. So I needed to remind myself of that because as I'm struggling to get the blog to take off and the YouTube channel to take off and the podcast to take off, all of these things take a lot of patience. And so it really can feel like I'm not seeing success or I'm not being successful. So I had to remind myself of the success that I've already accomplished with my virtual assistant business, like to the point where I don't have to advertise. I don't have to work really hard at promoting it. I get most of my business on that side is through referrals and things like that. So that's kind of like the only clients that I take are via referrals. So for me, I needed to stop in the midst of all of my musings and to remind myself of that one little thing. All right, so let's get back into the show. So my husband texted me the other day when he was in the middle of a podcast and he said, "You really need to listen to this podcast. I really think you need to hear it." And so he rarely says this. So when he does, I tend to listen. And it was exactly what I needed to hear. So part of finding the secret to my success is to understand that it doesn't happen overnight. And this is, I'm still trying to be at peace with that. But I really had hoped this blog would be an overnight success. And, I think that's probably a hope of anyone starting a new venture. So, that I would wake up one morning and there would suddenly be 10,000 page views, or my YouTube subscribers jumped to 1,000, or a pin went viral. Any one of these scenarios would work for me. I'm not too picky about it. Like any one of these I would be happy with. But yes, as all the veteran bloggers say, it takes at least 3 years. But there's always the exception to the rule. And we all hope that we will end up being the exception. So, how do I find the secret to my success? Well, the first thing we need to figure out is what exactly is success? How do you answer this question? Everyone starts a business with the desire for it to be successful, even with the odds against us. So I had to look it up. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 50% of businesses will fail within the first 5 years. So your chances of being successful is 50-50. Yeah. So after reading that, you're probably thinking, then what's the point? Why should I even try? Let's not trot in that pessimistic path of defeat. There are so many emotions that you go through when you're trying to build your business. So instead, let's take the time to really define what success is before we even start. We kind of have this ethereal idea of success. The idea of success is usually defined by what other people have accomplished. So we have kind of like this warm, fuzzy idea of what success is, and we usually measure it by other people's accomplishments. So as a momtrepreneur, your success isn't going to look like your mother's, your sister's, or the blogger you follow. You get to break all the rules on how you work and homeschool, and you get to define success on your own terms. And that, my fellow moms, is awesome. So this is what success looks like for the momtrepreneur. Now, these are just some ideas to find the secret to your success and a few ways that you can start to define success on your own terms. So your success can look like bringing in enough money to meet your minimum budget, paying for that homeschool curriculum that is going to make it easier to homeschool your kids. Yes, I've had a free homeschool curriculum that I hated. Going on a family vacation. More time to take your kids on adventures. Working in your dream industry or with your dream client. The ability to buy the car you need. Because, when you have to move up to that 12-passenger van, you need to be able to buy it. Time to write the book that's been on your mind and get it published. Getting a gym membership. This was a big one for me. You have no idea. I would pray because I grew up, by water and on an island. And so swimming and swimming safety was very emphasized even through school. And where we live now, we're landlocked, and there really aren't any public pools. So the only way to get the kids in swim lessons and then get them practicing swimming is with a gym membership. So yes, I have prayed for a gym membership so we can get so we can have a pool to use. Creating passive income streams. Learning something new. But Mom, you are not limited to just these things. The secret to your success may not even be on this list, but how you define success for yourself is what's important. These are just ideas to get you started. Here's the thing about defining your success. It can change from year to year. You can pivot your business or reach for another goal or milestone. The secret to my success is that it can change with my circumstances and what I need to do today. Have another baby? It's going to change. One of my favorite quotes is, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." And Winston Churchill said it. Now, this quote is hanging on the wall of our schoolroom/office. And it reminds me and the kids that success is not a destination, but a journey. And it's a journey for us to take and decide what makes it successful. So 3 ways to find the secret to my success, because we have to have actionable steps in this. So now that you have some ideas in your mind, how do you actually do it? There are so many emotional ups and downs when it comes to starting a business. Trust me, I can't count all the times that I thought about just giving up, asking myself if this was really worth the time, effort, and energy. At least once a day, sometimes more. So the first one is the long game. So the podcast that my husband told me I needed to listen to was Smart Passive Income. As a momtrepreneur, you know the daily struggles you face wondering if your idea is good, riding the emotional roller coaster of starting a business, the ups and downs. Sometimes it feels like we are the only ones struggling. Everyone else didn't go through what we're going through, right? When I listened to the podcast and the interviewee gave this timeline, it takes 2 to 3 years to see any movement with a new business and 5 years to see any significant money come in. She wrote a book called The Long Game, and her name is Jodie Clark. I haven't read it yet, but it is in my library queue. It's like a 14-week wait for the book. So to be honest, this is not what I wanted to hear, but it is what I needed to hear. So yes, I know these stats already, but I'm always hoping to be the exception to the rule. Anyone else with me? All right, so I need you to write this down and post it everywhere you look. There is no such thing as an overnight success. You have to play the long game. So if it looks like you won't end up being the exception to the rule, it is good to keep reminding yourself of how long it takes. Yes, I don't like it either. All right. Number 2, time to put processes in place. As much as I would like my blog, podcast, and YouTube channel to be an overnight success, the reality is that I need time to learn, grow, and to put processes in place to handle it. It doesn't matter how much research you do, you still need the practical experience to figure out what actually works for you. There is a learning curve to everything you do. Yes, research is needed. I love research, but you need to also put the knowledge you've gained into action, and that takes time. So this process is also going to change you and show you more of yourself sometimes, and it's painful at times. So this will always be the outcome of anything that is hard to do. The third one, you can only go as fast as you can. I know it sounds a bit redundant, but this is one of those things that I have been thinking about lately and just coming to terms with, that I can only go as fast as I can. So it doesn't matter how many ideas I have or how many things I want to get accomplished or how many goals I set. I can only run as fast as I can. And like I said, it's a hard one for me to make peace with. So when I worked in the corporate world, I could zero in, take on the world, and conquer it in a matter of hours. And I could. I don't have that luxury anymore. I am home with 6 kids, homeschooling them, juggling clients because I still need to make money, and trying to get this blog, podcast, and YouTube channel off the ground. I also have plans to write a book and create a course that will go along with the Mom Boss 2.0 workbook. And these are all good things and will be assets to my business, but they all require a lot of time to get them done. And I can only go as fast as I can. There are limitations to my time, whether I like it or not. I'll cry. And I need to make peace with these limitations instead of throwing a tantrum about it. Sometimes we can. It's okay. So this is one of those hard lessons that I'm learning when it comes to the secret to my success. As much as I don't like it, I can only conquer part of the world instead of the whole thing. So, Mom, how do you define success? Do you struggle with staying the course with your business? Let me know in the comments below. We all need help and encouragement when it comes to making our businesses a success. We really do. We need that voice behind us. It's usually my husband telling me to stick with it. Don't give up. Just stick with it. So, Mom, if you are ready to break free from the 9-to-5, be your own boss, raise your kids, and enjoy your life, then download the free 20-page workbook and get started to finding the secret to your success. I am so glad you joined me today. If you want to help spread the word, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I cannot stress to you how important it is, and it's free. It's just 3 seconds of your time to hit the subscribe button. You can also listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember to check out the Life Unboxed store for all of your Mom Boss merch. And you can support the show with coffee. Visit ko-fi.com/Life Unboxed blog to buy this tired mama a cup of joe. And for more great momtrepreneur content, follow Life Unboxed on social media or check out lifeunboxed.blog. Be sure to share the podcast and video with your friends. And I will see you in the next show.